right. And slate, 3, 2.
I love that you just did that. I did
It's
not.
like kind of a joke, but not.
But like kind of real.
But like you can sync it up later if you need to. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Experience.
So what, you know what, here's the thing. If we don't use that backup audio, I just tell my editor, I was like, listen, like if you could just like cut little things that she has said that are wildly offensive, like just put them out there.
Use them.
You know?
Well, just, I mean, not immediately. Hang on to them for blackmail. Extort first.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
I like your mug.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
it Ghosties? Oh, it's the night before Christmas. Perfect.
It is.
Perfect.
And can I tell you something kind of nerdy? So for those listening, not seeing, you're not going to get this, but it's fine.
Everyone.
These are white unless it has hot water in it, and then they turn yellow.
Oh, sick.
And just like over there, like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love it. What mug are you working with over there?
I have a nice, simple, modern, double-walled because I'm paranoid about spilling on my electronics.
It's smart. Very
Just
smart.
A lot of paranoia here. Not very exciting.
No, but wait. So what I was saying earlier, and I want to touch on the tea in a second because all of our folks that listen steep with us at home. But before I do that, I want everyone to know how crazy this is. So I use my Spotify Discover weekly, and I listen to it every week. And you popped up in it. And the way that I listen to it, and I don't know if this would offend a musician or not. I hope it wouldn't. Is the way that I listen to it is if I'm working, I just put it on, and if something pulls me out of what I'm doing, it means that it was enough that I'm like, I gotta, like, this is what I need. This is what works for me. Awesome. And you pulled me out of what I was doing, and then I reached out to you like a creeper.
Was it because the beginning of the song goes, oh shoot? And you're like, I mean, ma'am?
So I love soulful pop music.
Perfect.
And it wasn't just the opening. It was your vocals and your pre-chorus. And I was just like, oh, I'm here. Like, I don't know what. I literally go, who is it Menna? I'm like, who is this?
It is.
And I was just like, this is what I needed. This is exactly what I needed. So I circled it back like 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it was my vibe. And I was like, this is everything I've wanted.
Just make sure I really liked it. Yeah, sometimes you can be fooled. That makes me really happy. I also really like that it's that song that connected with you because that's one of my personal favorites. And I think like, I just feel really proud of like, there's some moments in the songwriting where I'm like, that is exactly what I meant to say. I think it conveys what I actually mean. And I feel great about it. You know, like, I feel very committed to that song. Like,
do you have like people reach out to you like me and just be like, I love your stuff and you just need to know?
Sometimes a little bit,
okay.
just in like Instagram, but it's the best whenever.
Weird?
No, I don't know. It's wonderful. I'm like, thank God. Okay, so I should be doing this. Cool.
Yeah, you're like, thank God someone's hearing me. Okay.
No, it is my sincerest delight. Like, I really don't like posting that much. My DMs are active and flourishing. That's my favorite way to engage with people because I'm like a 1-to-1 person. I'm not super cool in a party. 1-to-1, like I will steep with you. I will go like soul deep.
By the way, just because you said you'll steep with me, I have to just for the listeners, introduce the tea that we're drinking. Yeah. This doesn't always happen when we're doing virtuals, but I asked you a tea you liked. You named a tea that I have, which is like very kind of rare. But we are drinking Harney and Sons Hot Cinnamon Sunset.
Yes.
This is a very, I don't know if this is weird. It's like a very wintry tea for me. This is what I like to drink in the wintertime. This, for those steeping at home, it steeps at boiling. I would say do it for like 2 to 3 minutes, you know, kind of whatever rocks your boat. Are you someone who kind of just leaves the bag in and runs with it?
I made eyes when you said that because I was like, oh, he knows like facts about how you should actually do things. This one I have left in it. Mm-hmm. I will regret that because being a black tea, it'll oversteep a little bit. And the cinnamon gets spicy.
I like it though.
I do too. But it like sometimes you have to like I'm checking on it every now and then. And there might reach a point where I'm like, whoa. Because this one you can get 2 steeps out of this bag too, I swear.
Oh yeah. So here's what I'll say, and I just want to nip this in the bud at the very top here, because I tell this to my guests all the time. Yes, I do know a lot about tea, but like this is what I tell people. This is a JFTZ. This is a judgment-free tea zone. Okay, perfect. You have your tea however you want it. I'm not here to like snoot up
Not like a
tea for
purist.
anybody.
Yeah.
No, well, that's why I think, and we're going to jump right in a second of why you don't usually drink tea. But I think
Okay.
that a lot of people don't tend to like tea because there's this like holier than thou energy
It's
around it. Where,
nuance. Yeah.
yeah, everyone's just like, here's the thing with coffee, you can make coffee, make a cup, boom, you're done. With tea, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. So you need to keep it in for 3 minutes and 47
Oh
seconds
God.
at this
And
exact temp.
remember that you started the tea
Who does? I don't.
and come back at the right time
There
to
you go. I have to
discontinue
set
the
a
tea
timer.
making. Yeah.
I set
That
timers.
that's responsible.
Well, hold on. As a singer, I have to go back. So as a singer, I would have thought that you were going to tell me that you drink tea all the time. You don't really drink tea.
I don't, and I don't warm up.
What? Okay.
No, that's not true entirely. But no, I don't drink tea. Well, I don't like actively not drink tea, but I do like have a thing where for a while I think I was really giving off a tea drinker personality. So
Oh.
people buy me tea.
Oh.
I get gifted tea
Okay.
and they're too delicate. They'll be like, this one is a lavender asante with a little bit. And I just don't have like, I'm like,
Are you
cool.
someone, do you do that thing where you're like, you just like smile, but like you won't tell them it's not your thing. You're like, this is, yeah.
I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to become more direct.
Oh God, I'm
because
nervous.
I'm not. Yeah,
I feel
I'm
like you're
trying to
going to be
more direct.
like, I'm just refilling my cup. I feel like you're going to be like, I'm starting with this interview. It's terrible.
I'm going to start by being nice and then I'm going to turn really mean.
Oh, I'm excited.
No, I can't. It's not possible.
Listen, you're more than welcome to. I do feel like, based on the personality that I've gotten off of you so far, I feel like you don't have like a lot of meanness in you, but I don't, maybe you're just going to pull it out and be like, listen, I like fantasy. I'm wearing a velvet robe. I sing. Yeah, I'm wearing a dragon t-shirt, but also like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your vibe.
I don't know. I think I could say go fuck yourself without saying it, maybe. In the most polite way.
Wait, so remind me, because I know you're not here, obviously, or else you'd be here. Where are you located?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
So here's my question for you. So most people that are in Nashville, or Nashville in general, often pumps out, for lack of a better term, country music superstars. Like that is, one of my friends, his name is Matt Lipkins. He actually did an episode of Steve. He's in a band called the Shadow Boxers, who used to be in Nashville. Opened for JT, did a bunch of pop stuff.
Awesome.
But they left Nashville because they didn't feel like Nashville was as supportive of like soulful pop music.
I do think that infrastructure for pop music and for non-country music has grown and changed in Nashville.
Okay.
And also, I mean, like post 2020, as with every business, I think it kind of grew. Like, I know a lot of people that are sort of bi-coastal in the sense where they travel to LA all the time and pretend that they live in, whoever is in LA, they live in LA. Like, I live in LA. Whoever's in Nashville, they're like, I live in Nashville. So like they just kind of travel a lot.
Okay. Intriguing.
But I do think like, I mean, this is a weird industry and there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. There's a lot of personnel you need in order to like make the most out of your financial viability. But all those partners can be kept up over email besides creative partners. I could totally see why they left. Definitely no shade. Also, I think sometimes people feel like a stagnation here in the industry and in just the connectivity. And I could see where moving to LA might benefit me in the people I meet, and way leads on to way. You just never know like what's going to be the right move for you. But I am cozy and lazy and I like my house and it's here.
I think let me tell you something. Okay. So I was, for comedy, I was in Chicago, which is like a big comedy town.
Oh yeah.
And then through a whole series of events, I ended up in Los Angeles. The one thing I'll say, I've been here for almost 10 years. I still don't know if I made the right move. So like, I don't,
wow.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't,
yeah.
As a creative person, I don't necessarily know that it's so binary as like,
Yeah.
Like you need to go to LA and that's the
Yep.
move, or you don't and that's the move, especially for someone like you who that makes me think of like Cindy Lou who, but as you who uh you are making music that clearly by the fact that you and I are talking is reaching outside of Nashville. So
Yeah.
one can kind of come back to maybe it doesn't actually matter in
Yep.
this day and age where you are, as long as you're willing to
Well,
travel to perform.
yeah, and you don't have the counterfactuals for the choice that you didn't make.
Of
All you
course.
have is your bias towards thinking that the choice you made was good or it wasn't. So it's just like, yeah.
Well, was the choice for you, because I don't actually fully know where you're originally from. Like, did you make a move to Nashville for music, or were you in Nashville as you were burgeoning as an artist?
Well, that is a good question. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I
Oh,
technically
no
moved to
way.
Nashville for music, but like a long time ago, I just moved because my brother lived here and my whole family just one by one moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so I just kind of followed my brother and sister, and then I came to Nashville. I again, actually, to your point, I saw all the country music,
Hmm.
and I saw absolutely nothing that was interesting to me, and I wasn't a songwriter yet, so I was just a singer. I just liked singing,
Yeah.
and so I didn't see. I'm also kind of I'm a little too, I'm a little too shy on that type of thing. So like I wasn't invigorated and excited when I moved to Nashville for music. So I actually went in other directions and did like live TV production and like set decorating and like random other kind of visual artistic stuff. And then I
Okay.
came back to music.
So you said you have two siblings. Where are
Oh,
you
I've got
in the ranking of oldest to youngest? Where are you at?
I've got so many more than that. There are
Oh, how many?
7. I have 7
What?
siblings,
I don't believe
all
you.
kinds,
I don't believe you.
full, half, step. We got them all sides, all kinds. Love
Where
them
are
all.
you in the list of oldest or youngest?
Mid-ish, mid-pack,
Mid,
but
mid pack?
youngest of the oldest. So
Youngest of like the
enjoy.
OG group?
Yeah,
Okay.
the birth order analysis of my behavior based on that is a tough one.
So you
Because I was the youngest until like I was 10 years old, and then they all started over having more kids.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um,
So
is
that
anyone else
ruined
musical?
everything. I'm just kidding. The
Oh,
whole
I heard
family,
you.
absolutely, the entire family is musical. Grandpa Ron, jazz pianist, sax player, big band, concert writer.
Oh, classic, a concert writer. Yeah, yeah.
Concert writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very educated.
Yeah, yeah.
Not at
I was like,
all.
yeah, Grandpa Ron, classic concert writer. Sure, 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 sure.
Yeah, 0% education for me on
Mm-hmm.
music.
Yep.
And then
All of
like my
us.
stepdad plays drums. My mom's a jazz singer, and yeah, just everybody.
What is
My
going on?
brother was in a. You want to talk country? My brother was in a country band and had like a label deal and all that fancy. And I was young, and I thought that was very cool.
Can I tell you the embarrassing thing is that I love music. I know so little about country. You could be like, he was in blah blah blah, and I'll be like, hmm,
Same,
what?
same.
I know like
Nope.
Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah. I honestly, I almost like willful ignorance. At this point, it's just, I don't want to know
Yeah,
out of spite.
yeah. Well, so it's funny, by the way. Speaking of you being in Nashville, is like the one country act that like hit my radar where I go, ooh, I like this. Was Casey Musgraves came into my radar, and
Oh yeah, actually, same.
I was like, this is
Fine,
really
I know her.
but like
Yes.
that, but that was a fun vibe. Like that was fun. I heard that and I was like, I could put into my rotation.
Yeah, I think that was because it was good and just. I don't.
That was the most shade thrown in an entire
Okay, that was
industry.
it. That was the
Yeah. Okay,
one.
we got it. Now we heard it.
No, I
Ladies and
think it's
gentlemen, she had
universally
the
good. The
subtle go fuck
production was
yourself.
really. Yeah, there was the production
Mm.
was really good. It was like it kind of, I think it was like paved the way a little bit for like the Harry Styles thing too. And I mean, I don't know.
I love
I'm not as good or better than anybody I'm talking about.
it. Is funny. You do not have a lot of bravado as someone who like your music
Is
has
so good.
All right, that's a wrap. We
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, no.
You've
It's
got the
self-loathing. I'm
vibes.
working on it.
You're so vibey in the tracks, like all of them. Like I was listening to one of your slower songs today, and I was like, still vibey,
Still
still
vibing. She's still
vibey.
vibing out.
And then on here,
I
you're
like
like,
to
I
play
guess
with
I'm okay.
time.
I guess I'm whatever.
Yeah, I'm
I
all
guess
right.
I'm all right. Hmm.
I I think I have quiet confidence, which doesn't work.
No, listen, it's working
marketable.
it's working on me. I'm intimidated.
And yeah, in my inner circle, we're all like, I mean, yeah, it's good, right? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
like to everyone else, I'm like, me? No, not at all.
Do you never turn, and you could tell me if you, we can cut this if you want me to. You had mentioned that you were married before we got on. Do you ever turn to your husband and just go, like after recording and go, I nailed that. Like that I know was good.
For sure. If he doesn't react well enough to something, I'll be like, hey man, I just want to let you know.
you need
in
to know
a medical sense, I fucked that up so good.
Yeah, that was
I just need you to know
great.
that. Like, you're being nice, but like he's also not a musician, so sometimes I kind of joke like, I wish you're a musician so that you could know how fucking good.
I can tell you something. I do that. I do that.
Like, I want you to know how hard this is. I want you to have tried.
Oh yeah. I wrote a joke once and she was like, oh, I just don't think that's for me. And I go, you don't know enough to know that's actually for everybody. And that was incredible, but like, it's fine.
Super well crafted. There's layers to that joke. The way I got into it, the way I got out of it. I mean,
yeah, the rhythm. I was like, literally, it's almost like I did a halftime swing in the middle of that joke, but you didn't catch that. And it's fine.
That's right.
Wait, so if you had a whole musical family, do you bring any of them on your tracks? Do you ever go like, hey, like brother, come play on this? Why?
What if they're listening?
Yeah,
because they know that I'm the best one, and they can't quite, cut it. I'm just kidding.
But here's the thing: Grandpa Ron is an incredible concert writer. You don't think you could bring him on?
Well, he's dead, so probably not.
Yeah, there you go. That's sad.
But no, that's an interesting point. I do, yeah. My family culture, I think, like we definitely have like a hat tipping sort of like respect in the family of like, I'll get a message that's like, hey, this track right here, and that's like
just an emoji
feelings. Just, hey, you're good enough.
Your family seems stingy on the compliments. Your family's just like,
no, they're really not at all.
It's good.
But I'm the only one that's like, am I the only one that's doing music right now? Yeah, I think I'm the only one that's professionally making money on music right now. I think.
I mean, good for you that you're even making money on music. I feel like most, like, I was listening to
tooth and nail, but yeah.
I was listening to an interview, I think it was with Snoop Dogg, and he was like, it was like, go look it up to get the real numbers. Yes. But he was like,
I know where this
is
going.
Like, yeah, he's like, I saw I had 2 billion streams on Spotify. So I said, how much does that make me? And they were like, 40K.
I have thoughts on this.
And he was like, 2 billion a year makes me 40K.
I have thoughts.
Hit me with all the thoughts. This is Menna Hour.
I have thoughts. This is not the end of the story. This is my hot take.
I'm so
ready
for
saw that. I saw Weird Al talking about on his Spotify message that was like, thanks, I bought a sandwich. I don't remember what he said exactly.
That's very similar to what he said.
But look, do we not get paid enough? Yes. The numbers, what did he say? 40? He said 40 grand for
how
many
2 billion? It was like something like that. I don't know.
But we ran the math on it, and the Weird Al one, my husband was like, actually, let's assuming just on the master side, if he owned it outright, which he probably doesn't.
Yep.
He could pay off our house with his streaming, Weird Al streaming. It's exciting that we have musicians and big musicians talking about the egregious like thievery in our pay structure. But what I don't want to see happen is people take that, they quote that, and there's people saying, well, the facts are actually this, so musicians are lying, and like go the opposite direction with this sort of headline of it. Because so many people outside the industry have no idea what the hell is going on. They do not know how we make money. They really don't. So I don't want to see it be like musicians are underpaid, and the next headline is musicians are exaggerating and therefore silencing that it's a problem. So I think the publicity is nice, but if it's not thoughtful and thorough, I hope that the next step is thoughtful and thorough and not just throwing what musicians say out, because that's technically not a super accurate claim.
So when you, I think I like that take. I think.
Is anyone entertained?
Yeah, no, I'm entertained because I think, so way back in the day, I worked at Atlantic Records, and I was there around when they were
What did you do?
introducing.
What
I
was
was
your
an
role?
A&R. It was terrible.
Oh,
It was truly the worst. And I brought a bunch of artists to them that they turned down, all of them.
lucky for the artist, probably.
Yes, lucky
Oh,
for the artists, for sure.
yeah,
I remember I lost one of them to EMI, and I even contacted him, and I was like, "You're better off. Like, you're
yeah.
better off." But I was there around the time that like 360 deals were coming into vogue,
Oh,
and that whole thing that Atlantic was pushing. You just mentioned the 8515 deals. As someone who is more like, I want to say more of like an up and coming artist, is that a fair way to describe you?
yeah.
As someone who's an up
I
and
like
coming
that.
artist, how do you view how do you view your approach where you're just like, okay, well, 8515 deals are a mess. 360 deals are also were and are awful.
Yes.
So as someone like you, how are you just like, okay, I want to maximize my ability to make a living on this.
Yeah.
But I also like you're coming into a system, for lack of a better descriptor, you're coming into a system that is broken. So like
Yeah.
how are you doing it?
That is such a great point. Oh, make music you're proud of. I think like that has to be at the end of the day. Make music I'm proud of. Um, like when other things disappoint, that's something I can control. You can't really control the rest. But I think I don't have any starry eyes for labels because my
Sure.
husband's worked at a few. Everyone, all of our, if you're in Nashville, all your friends have been signed and dropped. Everyone's been signed and
Okay.
shelved. It's not hot. It's not cute at all. No one cares. Like we all know too much. So labels aren't that enticing until they're bringing you a deal with the right people at the label, the right key players that really matter to you, that you are willing to take a risk on doing good by you. And you'll never have the counterfactual of the choice you make versus the choice you didn't make.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's just piece by piece, knowing where money comes from in the music industry, analyzing what you want from partners, what it's worth for you giving up, what it's worth you risking, because everything's a risk reward, or risk no reward.
I was gonna say that's my life. Risk no reward. That's where
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
at. Yeah.
And you make bad deals and you learn from them. And you just have a great lawyer is really the best strategy. Lawyer is the first person that a
Uh,
musician should have.
Back in the day, and this is going far back, unfortunately, but like back in the day, people used to tour to support an album. Now,
Yeah,
music is released to support touring because touring is kind of where
right.
the money is. Do
Yeah.
you, when you're writing music, are you essentially like looking at it as, what am I going to have fun doing on stage? Because that's where I'm going to have to be doing that. So how do I make music that I'm going
Dude,
to have fun performing?
literally. Literally, actually, yes. And the more that I've played out, the more in the writer's room, I'm like standing up, running around the room. And I know if I'm in a write and it's just like, hey, this might be a song that's like about feelings and is important and cool and great. But if I'm not like thinking, ooh, I cannot wait for people to sing this, like, and for to enjoy it communally, then
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not going to get cut. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not going to get cut if I can't picture having a great time with it live. Yeah.
Because I got to a
Great
point.
insight. You totally called it.
Stop. But I
Yeah.
mean, keep going. I
I
love
used to
it.
be an A&R guy.
Listen, like I'm a big deal. I didn't want to say anything. But what I'll say, and you're gonna probably hate this. When I was a songwriter, when I was doing that, at a certain point, when I would like write a slower song, I would be like, maybe I pick up the tempo here. Like I got to do something because
Yep.
this is going to be essentially an energy killer in the middle of my set. So I either need to pick up the tempo, find a way to speed this up, or honestly put this to the side and write something else like that. And that's sad.
Yeah. So I totally feel that way about well, for me it's like I don't think that my slower songs are not vibe killers in my live set. They're
Okay.
actually like really intimate. Honestly, that one of the things that people talk to me afterward about, ironically.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. Cuz the songs I have are like I do a live, which I don't know if you've heard that one yet, but everyone
I,
like go back and listen to my catalog.
no, I
A
listened to
live
your
which
Menna
sings down.
Essentials.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And Better Days, which is down, but they're all like really, I think, relatable and emotional and just like emo as fuck. They're very just like, you're
I
gonna be
love
okay.
emo.
So that speaks to people. But when I'm writing a song, if it's just like me and my little feelings, there's only like, if you have a dozen songs on a record, even that's not how we're releasing these days, but proportionally, you have like 2 slow songs. But like, if someone wants to like get a cut, don't write a slow song.
Wait, okay. So before we keep going, I have more questions. Before we keep going, I want to get to the first segment. Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
Yes.
So the way this works, I ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud. I'm going to write down my answer. We're going to flip our boards and see if we got the same one. And then we will do the same question for me. So I could go a lot of different routes with this, but from the very beginning, when we started talking, one of the things you said, as you described yourself, was a fantasy nerd. So my question for you is going to be, and don't tell me your answer, write it down. What is your favorite fantasy movie of the past 20 years? 1, 2, 3. What did you? Oh, okay. So you wrote Lord of the Rings. I wrote Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
I was actually trying to decide between Fellowship and Return of the King, and it might be Return of the King. But it might be Fellowship just on like how many dang times I've seen the first one. Also, I'm reading Two Towers right now, and I haven't gotten to Return of the King, but I'm very excited to get to Return of the King. I think you get that one for sure.
How many times have you watched? I'm just now curious. How many times have you watched the first one?
Enough times that I own the box set, and I probably have like memorized. Have you noticed like there's like behind the scenes clips on TikTok and stuff from like the box set? I recognize every single one that I come across. I'm like, oh, I've seen this bit before.
That's boo-nanners. I'm going to tell you, by the way.
I've watched the director's cut a bunch. Director's commentary. I've watched all of them with director's commentary a lot.
And how long is the director? That's got to be. Oh wait, director's commentary is not any longer.
Is him talking over the whole thing.
And you do that obnoxious. For funsies.
Yeah, I was an odd child.
Does your husband like fantasy as much as you, or does he put up with it?
No, he is Marvel.
Oh, okay, okay. I've lucked out in my household, and I have no judgment for anyone that likes Marvel. It's all good.
I'm Marvel by marriage now, so I'm like, yes, I know all of them too.
Which is fine.
I have my favorites.
We're not a superhero movie household, but like it's all good. I don't, I'm a coming of age movie guy. So like I just saw The Holdovers in theaters and was just like, oh, I love it.
Oh, that's good. Here, this describes me and Landon. I'm listening to Two Towers podcast or audiobook.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Although I would and I will if there are podcasts about it.
You start one. Yeah.
I would be insufferable. I'm listening to that and like futzing around. I'm like making a painting, and he's watching the end of Smallville.
I'm sorry.
Does Smallville, he like it?
The WBCW show?
Yes. Does he like it? No. He's like watching it and he's like, it's not very good. He's finishing it. He finished it today.
The problem
he's like completionist.
I'm
and I kind of am too in my own way.
I'm a completionist.
Yeah. So we're well matched. We just have different fandoms.
Yeah, I get that. By the way, the other one I wrote, I don't know if you saw this. I wrote this at the bottom. This didn't come out in the past 20 years, but for some reason, you give me the vibe that you enjoyed this film, was Never Ending Story. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, but it didn't make it into my young childhood. So that was in the era of like, if you didn't own it on VHS, you just never saw it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So like, there's a lot of like other people's childhood movies that I should have been there for, and I like just wasn't, because we just didn't like. I didn't see Hocus Pocus till I was like 23. I know, and I'm like, I would have loved it. It would have been great. Didn't see the Goonies.
What?
I didn't see so much. Oh, here, I'm Princess Bride. Done.
Oh, well, that's an incredible.
So that's the one that I know every single word to. But like, you just, and I've like The Last Unicorn, like The Secret of Nim, like that.
I don't even know that.
It's dark, creepy shit. It's animated.
Okay, let's get to mine because I have
A lot
more
of
musical
rodents.
questions for
Oh my
you.
God.
So it's the same question as yours. What is my favorite fantasy movie of the past 20 years? I am desperate to give you a hint, but I'm not going to. 1, 2, 3, flip. Oh, let me see. Oh, Avatar. Oh no. So
That's why I was like, this is the first one I thought of, and I was like, I hope that's not it.
okay, Menna
But
said
I can't
Avatar.
think
I
of a
said,
second movie.
have you seen Shape of Water?
When I saw the Of Water just now, though,
Oh, you thought it was The Way of
before I
Water.
saw
You thought it was
Shape,
Avatar.
I was like, oh, I just insulted him. I've just jerked my computer around.
No, you're fine. Have you?
Shape of Water.
Did you see
Wait,
it?
wait, is that the one where the opening scene is a house and underwater, and there's a
Maybe.
girl?
I mean,
What is the
I
Shape
don't
of
remember
Water
the opening
about?
scene, but like the Shape of
Describe it.
Water is that like there's this merman and this woman
Merman?
like works at this like facility and they have the merman in a tank and she starts falling in love with him.
Wait, that rings a bell. I probably have seen it. Again, my memory is insane.
You know
I
what's
can't
weird?
remember anything,
The way I know your
but
memory's insane, we've known each other
that
for
rings a
20
bell.
years. And it's just like the fact that you don't know that is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's bad. It's so much that like my best friend, we have like accommodations for me where there's
She's just like, listen, Mena's not going to remember what she ordered,
I'll
so we're
write
going to
things
write it
down.
down. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
she won't hold things against me. She'll remind me like put this in your calendar.
Are you someone who needs to have someone go like, Mena, is this in your calendar? And you're like, I don't know.
That is something I do for myself. Everything is in my calendar.
Oh.
Because if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. If we've
Uh,
talked about it, if I say, yeah, let's do that, I'm not doing it. If in that moment I don't say, yeah, what days it works for you? This time at that time? Great. Then I'm just bullshitting you.
I mean, that's how I felt when we started
That's my
recording.
tell.
I was like, I don't know if I made her calendar, and I hope that I did. Um,
When we advanced to this, I was very like, yes, I'd like to do that. What time works? Like,
I loved it. I loved it. Um, wait. So, okay. So I want to go back a little bit because we were in the middle of talking about your music and the things you write and how you feel about doing them live. And what you said that really surprised me was that like the slower songs get the more response. When you're crafting your overall sets, are you thinking about what's going to be best, like what you're going to enjoy doing the most? Or are you thinking more about what the audience is going to receive the best in terms of your set list?
mm. There are songs that I sing that I know people like that to me are either like technically hard, which makes it less
Sure.
enjoyable to get through, um, or I just trust, or something that's super emotionally vulnerable and it's too vulnerable, and so I don't like it, but I trust that it's the right thing to do.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, oh, I don't really like that song that much, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's. And they're like, well, it makes me cry, so you should like it. I'm like, okay, fair.
Have you ever cried on stage while performing?
Oh yeah, that's an easy yes.
Yeah, you're like, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I think like each song I try to like get into, and there's a
Yeah,
couple that like if I can think of why I wrote it or who I wrote it for, like I don't know, like I do think that sometimes when you're performing or when I'm performing, other people too,
yeah. When I'm performing,
you
yeah.
embody the story, which can be like a really pure, um, almost like a single emotion, almost like a really saturated color. Like maybe it's not super accurate to like the whole spectrum of color that I'm experiencing or feeling even when I wrote the song, but a song can be like the richest, deepest red. And so it, if
No, I
that makes
like it. I'm
sense.
into it. No,
So then
I'm captured.
so then I can be expressing something that's like the really core of like I wrote a song about loss and what people have told me about what it means to them. Now I'm like, oh God, now to me that song means their loss of like a child or something really
Oh yeah.
intense. So now I've attached that to it and windowed down to just the like really core singular feeling. It doesn't reflect how I feel that day usually. You know?
When this is a crazy story. So I was living in Chicago, and long story short, I got a call that my dad had a heart attack. I flew to Miami airport because they were an hour north, and I had like set up a flight. I rented a car. I get to Miami Airport, and when I get to the airport, I found out that he died while I was on the flight. And I know, it was really sad. Now, this is a really weird comment, but I feel like as a musician, you might understand where I'm going with this. I
You said
get in the rental
material
car.
immediately.
I get in the rental car, and I plug in my phone, and I go, what is the album I'm going to listen to right after my dad died? What is the album that...
Yeah, because you'll remember that moment.
Yeah.
You remember, and then that album is going to be like intertwined with grief, probably.
I listened to Sarah Bareilles' debut album.
Ooh.
Because not only do I love that album, there was a song off that album which was called Many the Miles. And
oh yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, and
I know that album. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, it was a great album. I sent that song to my dad way back in the day because he liked Bonnie Raitt a lot, as do I.
Oh,
and I sent that to him and was just like, I know you don't know this artist, she's newer, but like she's given it all she's got, and this song I feel like really like would vibe with you. And he loved it. And so like I get in this car and my thought is just like, what, like, oh, this, whatever album I listen to right now, the pressure, oh, and I was like, maybe this is the...
I can't listen to music until
I was like, maybe this is the one.
The right one.
But like, that's, when you're talking about how you've written about loss and how other people interpret it, like, I'm sure when Sarah Bareilles wrote that album, she wasn't like, I wonder what this, this New York white Jew is going to listen to when his dad dies. Like, I just don't think that was...
I wonder if he'll connect to Many the Miles over the death of, like, while grieving his father for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm writing that for him. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's in her live show.
She's like, okay, we're going to run that. But like, have you had people come up to you on that song about loss and be like, I lost my parent, I lost a friend, whatever, and this song got me through, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's one that I wrote a long time ago, and that the strongest memory I have of it is that my husband and I used to run an Airbnb out of our house back when it was just like a room of your house. You'd just be like, hey, strangers, come live with us.
Oh my God.
And so I would play piano for them.
Amazing.
Because can you imagine like going and like staying in Nashville? Because they're in Nashville, like they're here for music. And like the person you stay with is a musician. I created what they wanted,
Yeah.
It's like you're staying with a musician. So I'd like play piano for them in the morning. Just like tinkle around a little bit. Not everybody, only if the vibes were there. Like their vibe, especially older people. Oh, I love older people.
Just generally.
And generally I do. Mm-hmm. And I love just like they were really fun guests because they were bed and breakfast people. But I played a song for them, and then they told me their story of what the grief of that song meant to them, what it made them think of, and it was the loss of their child.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so just super chill Airbnb.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's I think as a musician, you hand off music. Like once you write it and release it and you're like, this is a commercial exploit, you have to let go. And that has to mean what it's going to mean to other people within reason, if it's for like the good of mankind, not for harm. But like you have to let go, and it just like that added to what that song is actually about. That is a grief far beyond what I've experienced. But now that song's about that, so to speak. Or now that song carries that, and realizing, oh, people could have a way more intense experience with this song than I do, and just like be mindful.
I mean, that's it's interesting being a comedian. Like I have had people come up and talk about how, oh, that like I so relate or this or that. But like, I don't think, in my own experience, I don't know that people project ideas or experiences onto my jokes very much in the same way you can do it with music, because I think music can, in a lot of instances, feel more vulnerable. Like I think music gives people a little more permission to do
Yeah.
that, to apply that, to project that emotion, that feeling against that backdrop versus when I'm doing, if I'm doing jokes about my relationship, if I'm doing jokes about how, my girlfriend sleeps during movies, like when I do jokes like that, like someone might go, "Oh my God, mine too." But no one
Yeah.
goes, "My girlfriend used to sleep during movies before she died."
Before she died.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I
that's just
mean,
not happening.
maybe you don't know. If you write about some deep stuff, I bet people, nah. No, you're right. I think there's things about music. You can listen to it on repeat. No one's typically going to listen to a type 5 of yours on repeat to
But
get
shouldn't
through.
they? Shouldn't
I
they?
wish they would.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I have a lot of questions about why the hell your industry was chosen. That seems like the hardest.
It's terrible. I
That's
hate it.
for
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea. I thought mine was a poor choice. Look,
I'm on a 360 deal
um,
with myself. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. But there's a cadence to music too. So like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep singing the song regardless if you're reacting to me in the audience or not. But so there's like a cadence, and it's a trance like thing. Like humans, we love music because of the repetition and the patterns and stuff. So it's different. Also, you're probably when you're making a joke, probably you don't have a goal of making people cry. I love to make people cry,
Do you?
but I do. Yeah, I
Because
love making grown men cry. It's my highest honor.
I hate to be the
But in
bearer
a,
of
in a
bad
sweet
news.
way. That sounds really mean.
I'm an
From a
easy
show,
cry.
I love when people are like, I had some really that made me feel a lot more than I felt in 9 years in Nashville or whatever. I've had so many like I've never felt that way at a show or something like that. But you're also speaking more like granular, specific instances, and we may all relate to them. But a lot of times we're singing in like metaphors where we're
Mm.
purposefully like leaving the door a little bit open to interpretation. And I'm trying to make people cry, and you're not.
No, I am. That's I don't know how that's me. I miscommunicated. No, that's exactly what I'm doing. The interesting thing, if the big difference, if I make someone cry, I think I've failed. That's like,
Or really succeeded, like they've laughed till they've cried.
which I haven't seen, but I'm sure it happens. Wait, but so okay, so I want to because I know we're running out of time, and I just want to ask this. Um, as you continue to write more music and put out more music, doing it in this format, which you're free to comment on as well, which is kind of like the album has gone away. In the era of shuffle, as you continue to do this, is the goal? Obviously, the goal is to like make a living doing what you love, but along with that goal, does that mean you're going to be on the road half the year? Does that mean that the style of music you make needs to change? Like, kind of, how do you project into the next 5 to 10 years of your career?
Yeah, so like with albums having gone by the wayside, I do want to create more collections
Hmm.
and sort of create semblance of albums. I think it's going to be really hard to get ahead content wise and actually have produced and finished an album in order to release it. And I don't think I would ever just drop that much at once because you kind of need more mileage out of music now because it's sort of like an advertising mechanism. But I want to release more music and be less precious. I'm joking that my like toxic trait, so to speak, is that I only release like 5% of the songs I write, and I
Are
could
you
do a lot better
serious?
than that. Yeah, like if that, like I feel bad for people that write with me. I'm like, I'm sorry, good luck. Um, yeah, it's bad.
Wow.
So, but also releasing, making music is not easy or cheap. But so release more music. Yes, touring. That's another piece of the puzzle. It's a piece I really enjoy. Um, yeah, there's a lot of little avenues for building the financial investments and income and like revenue streams that I want, but also designing the day to day life that I want. And that
Yeah,
includes a
I
lot of
wonder.
singing.
Yeah, I wonder how much those
Lots.
come into conflict almost, because like I imagine, like I don't know that anybody gets the exact life they want without the implications that come with it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like
Yeah.
I stand up comedy is great, right? But That means that I'm at clubs all hours of the night. That means that I'm writing jokes constantly. That means that I'm on the road playing Bumblefuck Iowa, playing like Larry's Laugh Basement, and
Right.
wondering where the hell the time went, and wondering, well, my life, my fiance back home, like I wonder how they're doing while I'm out here. Like
Yeah.
those things sometimes come into conflict. Like when I think about you and your like what your music can do, it's kind of like on the one hand, it's like, oh my gosh, like this could be at the Forum, this could be at MSG, whatever the big venue is that you want to think about.
Love that for me.
Sure, this could be at all of those things. But then it's also like, okay, like what does that mean for the life that you lead? And how does that change? And are there going to still be those opportunities to like sit on the couch and be listening to the Lord of the Rings podcast you've created? And while your
No, I'll
husband
take it. MSG
watches
sounds
Smallville.
great.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. Okay.
No,
Well,
no,
that's the
no.
answer.
No, you're so right. Yeah. I think that, and this is something that I've been trying to focus on and take with me. I had like kind of a divisive conversation with a close friend a couple years ago. And they said, you need to be like, you need to play like MSG, like your shit's so good. You need to like, it has to be huge. You shouldn't like, basically, you shouldn't be happy unless you reach that. Like she was saying that I won't be happy. And like, they like someone loves you so much and wants so much for you, but that like, that has to happen. And that sparked a lot of introspection for me because I bristled at that. And then I kind of took that home and chewed on it for like 6 months. And like, statistically, that's unlikely.
Sure.
And that's not necessarily kind to humanity, because I think there are dignified and successful lives that aren't Taylor Swift. Like you don't have to be as massive or live such a grandiose life such that your potential illustrates you might have in order to have lived well. I think there's a lot of people with the potential, but I don't think that it's fair to withhold your own happiness until you succeed in some measurable way. So, okay, well, if I'm not allowed to be happy, or if I am allowed to be happy until then how do I actually construct being happy? Because if that's the goal of success, to be happy and to be enough, you can probably just circumvent the obsession with success and learn how to be happy and be enough.
If there has ever been...
So I'm working on that.
If there's ever been a better kind of like wrap up of an episode before the lightning round, I feel like that's it.
Let me say more. You can edit this out.
I don't want to. Go ahead.
We all die.
What?
We all die.
No,
everyone's going to die.
Yeah.
And I think like remembering that can kind of separate the wheat from the chaff on like, what the fuck am I doing today? And I don't mean that the only answer to that, like for some people, the answer to that is wake up at 4 a.m. and like, do. And that like gives them joy they would love that every day. But for most people, it's going to be a mix of trying to figure out what a good day is, because a good day turns into good weeks, turns into good months, turns into good years. So if you're going to construct, like you're going to die at the end of this, so make sure you have a good time.
I once had a conversation with Jess, and she goes, how cool would it be if there were a movie where people all died at the hands of their biggest fear? And I was like, how would failure kill me?
Ooh, that's great. That's like a horrible idea, but really good.
Well, yeah.
Fear of failure. Yeah. I have a fear. My biggest fear is public humiliation.
Interesting.
Like
being a comedian,
I'm pretty sure that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Get it done.
That's what I need to do. Take some improv classes or do a set I'm unprepared for.
Listen, if you are in
Exposure
LA,
therapy.
if you are in LA, if you're ever playing a show in LA, if you give me enough notice, I will schedule a stand-up show. I'll put one together and I will bring you up and you
Make
can
me talk.
do 5 minutes.
And I can torpedo, and then I'll have a great set the next night when I
There you go.
perform.
Yeah. Or
I'll
you
be
can
like,
even you can perform music. Go nuts. We'll have you on.
Perfect.
Okay, we need to get to the lightning round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The lightning round is 5 fast questions. You don't need your pad. I'm just talking to you, but I love that you reached for it. It's just 5 fast questions. They do not have to be fast answers. They are the same 5 questions we end every episode with.
Okay.
So, question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So, for example, I love brewing tea. What is a ritual that you do that you like?
Oh, I love favorite ritual, setting my home lighting to like evening mode.
What? You have an evening mode? I want that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have next level goals is to like have something where you could like tell it to do evening mode, but just going around and dimming and turning on little accent lamps and like just like getting it to like the low, chill, warm, very low lighting in the whole house of my whole experience. So I'm like flowing throughout my space in the evening and just like a golden soft glow in the dark.
That is an incredible answer. And
yes,
I'm jealous.
That's my favorite. That's definitely my favorite.
Question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
My best friend and I, whenever we're talking shit, we say, well, because everyone else is totally stupid and we're perfect angels, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah. Because you need to talk shit and then you're like, we're obviously terrible people.
Literally before I talk shit, I'll be like I'll say something. If Jess goes, well, for you. And I'm like, oh, no, this isn't about me. No.
Exactly. That's a joke.
No.
Yes. If someone tries to actually like bring some like sensible nuance or like self-reflection or like discipline into the situation, you're like, no. I like that person should not drive correctly. They should not do anything I don't expect them to do.
Correct.
Has nothing to even do with like what they need to get done on the road. This is my world. I'm perfect. Everyone else is just.
Yeah. It's my right of way. That's what it is.
Yes. Obviously.
Question 3. What is a controversial opinion that you have?
If it's an offensive joke, it just wasn't funny enough.
I believe I've said before that you could do a joke about anything, but the more controversial the area, the better the joke has to be.
It has to be good. Yeah.
Okay, let me get you to question 4 because I don't want to keep you on all night, though I'm loving it. Question 4 is, have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a moment that sticks with you?
100. Most of the time, yes. The only time I would say the only time I don't experience imposter syndrome is when recording vocals in a studio.
That's a good place to not.
That's the only time I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Great. Well, my final question, I typically ask what your favorite tea is, but I know that you're not a tea drinker. So I will say, what is your, well, I'll say, what is your favorite comfort?
Ooh. I love to wear pajamas, but look like I'm not. Like what I'm wearing right now.
Oh, that's pajamas.
I mean, basically. Okay. I'm in like the stretchiest pants, an XL t-shirt, and a robe.
Okay.
But I could wear this on stage.
And you'd be fine.
Yeah, I'd be fine. That, and I love playing Zelda on my Switch. That's a
great answer. The
off.
Original?
Yeah.
The original Zelda?
I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. Okay. The latest one. But I have played some of the older-ish ones. I actually have Twilight Princess on a GameCube with the CRTV in the next room.
Dear God. I don't know, like, how to categorize you as a human. When we get off this call, when I'm just like, people will be like, how was that episode? I'll be like, idea. She is like, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting. Like I didn't know what
the fuck.
Oh my God. Well, listen, that is the podcast. How do you feel?
That was great.
Good?
Yeah, that was really fun. Yes.
That was Menna. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Menna Nation. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzet, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzet. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. Oh, yeah.
But you're not. No, we're perfect. Obviously, everyone else are the dumb ones.
We're good. We are fine.